everyone. So it has officially been about like 1 day since the announcement of the Golden Trio. And so we're going to take today and we're going to take a look at what a bunch of people have to say about the casting. We're going to look at Twitter, we're going to look at the IMDb profiles, we're going to look at my comment section and potentially others as well. We're just going to do a overview of everything. So let's get started. We'll start with my YouTube video because why not? So here is one comment. I'm fine with everything else, but Annabeth's determination to break the dumb blonde stereotype is a huge part of her character, like 1/5. I don't want Disney to take that away. Then again, they have Rick's stamp of approval, so it might be okay. Which is a fair thing to say. And then Catherine over here says, I disagree. Correct if I'm wrong, but I think the dumb blonde struggle was barely mentioned. I think it was in Mark of Athena where they mentioned it more. To be honest, I feel like the dumb blonde stereotype on film is a little outdated. I'm naturally blonde in real life, and the reason why I love her so much isn't because of her hair, it's because of her struggles with pride and betrayals by her friends. It's her struggle to appease her mom that hit close to home. Being blonde is a part of her character, yes, but there is so much more to her than just that. I think there are so many more compelling things about her to dive into rather than just her hair color. And if they want her to be blonde and have gray eyes, that's completely doable. Also, I see a double standard, not with you specifically, but so many are complaining about her and not Grover. The actor for him isn't accurate either, but it's Annabeth's casting that's getting pushed back. It's getting pushed back. I love the casting and I trust Rick and his team because he knows his characters the best. Love the actors they picked, even though I imagined them differently while reading. Example, I don't know if it's the enchiladas, but I always pictured Grover as Hispanic. And then here we go with PJ Kim. To be honest, I was iffy when they showed Annabeth's actress because she wasn't like what I expected. I thought that she would be like the official art that the fandom generally takes inspiration from. And also the books, of course. But after listening to several people's views, people who were supportive of it, people who hated it, and even people who were neutral about it, it made me think. It made me think of that in the end, people will have their own opinions of things, and some might change and some might not. Anyways, like you said, the personality of the character is really important when portraying them. Because if the actor might look like the character as really close as possible, if they can't translate the character's personality, motives, and chemistry with the other characters, it would be disappointing. Of course, like you said, people wanting the characters to be portrayed as physically accurate as possible is a valid feeling, in a way. Overall, a lot of feelings are swirling inside me for the upcoming TV series, and I can't wait for what is to come. And then Allison says, I completely agree with you. I think Leah's... I still don't know. I still don't know which one she goes for. I should probably look at that. Anyways, I think Leah will be awesome. I do hope that they give her some sort of blonde hair extension or something, because being blonde is a big part of Annabeth. I think it was in Mark of Athena, she mentioned that she feels like she has to work twice as hard and no one takes her seriously because she's blonde. I feel like a lot of what motivates her is trying to prove that stereotype wrong. And then Akshar, says her blonde hair is not a big part and is not mentioned in the main series. That's not actually accurate. It's actually mentioned, I think, a couple times throughout the series, actually. In fact, it's pretty much in book one that she is blonde and she has her insecurities and that sort of thing. I don't have the book in front of me. I could probably skim through it and point it out, but the blonde hair is definitely something that is mentioned. In fact, that is the first thing that Percy sees, I believe, in when he's like passing out. He hears like the Annabeth's voice saying, "Oh, he's the one." And then he wakes up to see Annabeth, who has blonde hair and gray eyes. Like, it's pretty much the first thing that we know about Annabeth. Now, that doesn't mean it's an integral part. It is our first impression of her that she is a blonde girl. And we can also see some details within book one about how, she does have to kind of prove her leadership qualities, I suppose. She also, also another part of it is that Annabeth grew up young in the camp. She's like one of the youngest campers ever to arrive at Camp Half-Blood, and so she's treated like a child. And adding the blonde hair on top of that, she feels even more so the necessity to prove that she can do it. Now, that doesn't mean that Leah can't portray that aspect. That can very well be an aspect that is portrayed. I think it changes a little bit the approach of which they might take, which some people might like, some people might not like, who knows. Now, I do think that the blonde stereotype has evolved to the point where it's not really a thing anymore, right? That's also one thing to be argued, because remember, these books were written in like 2010, 2005. Like, that was when like the blonde stereotype was really prevalent, right? Nowadays, that blonde stereotype has kind of died down. I mean, even to the point where we have like what's her name? Meredith Grey, who was a blonde, and then there's also like Peyton Sawyer, and then there was there's just been a lot of intelligent blonde women that I feel like that stereotype doesn't necessarily translate anymore, if you know what I mean. Like, nowadays we have the Karen stereotype, right, which does actually have that blonde thing put into it. But I feel like the blonde stereotype isn't really a thing. What is a thing is the Asian stereotype. That has always been a thing, and probably will always be a thing. As an Asian, I can attest to that. But I don't think that it should be made into like a race thing either. I know there is that temptation to, because Leah happens to be dark skinned, people automatically throw out the race cards. And I think that would happen no matter what. Like, it happens even if the character in the story is not white, right? Like, look at Rue, for example. People were surprised when Rue was dark skinned, even though in the books she actually is dark skinned. And in fact, that detail is actually included in the books. So it's not so much like, I almost feel like it's wrong to always jump to the race card in either scenario, because it kind of just how to put this? How do I put this? It kind of reduces the characters to their skin tones and appearances, right? And the characters that are Percy Jackson, Annabeth, Grover Underwood, they are so much more than their appearances. And in fact, in my opinion, the appearances are like a small thing that I think the reason why it was critiqued in the movies is because the movies were terrible, right? Let's be honest, the movies were terrible. And even when the movies changed, like they fixed Alexandra's hair, it was already too late. Like, the Sea of Monster was arguably way, way worse than the Lightning Thief. And the Sea of Monster had Annabeth's hair correct. So it's not necessarily that it's the appearances that matter. It's more so that the characters were so wooden that it was hard to emphasize with them, or relate to them, or feel like that those were our characters. Is appearance an important aspect of adaptations? Sure. Yeah. Is it the most important thing ever? I would say no. When I think also PJ kind of said it, is that when I think of Annabeth and why I like her, the reason being that she's blonde is like number 200. Right? It's like way, way down the list. There's so much more to Annabeth's character that it would be sad to reduce her down to her like skin tone or even her physical appearances. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not important. It does mean that, if they auditioned 10,000 people. 10,000. Can you imagine that? 10,000 people. You can guarantee that there are people in that audience that were blonde and had gray eyes and were the perfect look, but they couldn't deliver. They couldn't deliver on what they were acting as. Now, if you take that into account, right, that Rick Riordan chose to go for the person that acted the best and acted like Annabeth and was Annabeth, then I think that we should be reassured that these actresses, these actors, have our characters' best interests at heart. And also, again, remember that these are young kids. They're not 20-year-olds. They're not 30-year-olds. They're literal children. So do keep that in mind before you go after them. I don't think people have gone after them, but I do know people have been like talking a lot on social media and everything, as they do. And so, you know what? Even if you have problems with the casting, don't take it out on the actors. They're just doing their job, and they were just the lucky few that made it. I think it's okay to not like the casting. I don't think it's okay to purposely be negative about it. It's one thing to voice that concern, it's another to turn it into hate. I would say that. Okay. So then, so does this mean Hollywood has stopped picking on gingers and it is moving on to blondes in their continued efforts to satisfy the black community with lazy hand-me-downs? That's actually, I think, a good point. I think that there is the concern that Hollywood is taking the approach that replacing characters is the equivalent of representation. Right? Instead of creating a character like Tiana, for example, they instead take a character that already exists and just race swap, right? They just make her dark-skinned, or make him dark-skinned. And now, while it's good for the actors that play them, it's not actually a quality representation of those characters. Now, who knows? Maybe Rick Riordan will make some adjustments so that Annabeth does reflect that proper heritage. And if you think about it, she also has family that could very well reflect that as well. I mean, think about her stepmom. Well, her stepmom, who knows? But like, what's his name? Frank? I think his name is it Frank? I think it's Frank. No, it's not Frank. It's Fred. No, I forgot. Who is? Hang on 1 second. I forgot. It's been. I mean. Frederick. Oh, it is Fred. It is Fred. I was confused. Also, I think I called Walker Will in my previous episode. My bad. I thought his name was Will. His name is Walker. But anyways, yeah, you know what? I do think that, there are, and people also mention that there are characters within the series that do already have that ethnicity. For example, there's like Charles Beckendorf, there's Leo Valdez, there's Piper, there's Hazel even, and I do think that it's not enough to just replace people, right? It's not enough to just replace them and act like that's quality representation, because it's not. It really isn't. And I think anyone who says that it is kidding themselves, because even though it might look like like it might look like you, it's not like you. And I do think that is an important thing to also keep in mind. There is the habit of just changing appearances, and that to me is not enough. Just replacing a character with another ethnicity is not enough representation. It's like taking... It just isn't enough. And I do agree. I do kind of agree with that sentiment. That it isn't enough, because it's not enough. And I think there should be more. And I think there should be more than just the lazy hand-me-downs, which I do agree with, by the way. I think that it's more important to tell original stories that already have that representation in mind. There's so many stories out there that do that, by the way, than it is to keep, switching people out. For example, the DC Universe has a tremendous diverse lineup. And so it's weird when people choose characters to switch appearances when there's already 50 characters that can fulfill that lineup, right? For example, if you want a black character, just use Jon Stewart, Vixen. There's 1,000 characters out there that you could use that would... Static Shock, for example. There's so many characters, and it's always weird when the representation is there. It's just that studios don't want to use them because they don't think they're popular enough. They don't think that they're good enough. Whatever the reason is. For example, Steel. Steel is a very great character. He's a great character that is underused, and he is black. And then there's also Cyborg. There's so many characters that deserve their stories to be told, that are already diverse, that don't require kind of bending backwards. Now, I do want to preface, and I do want to say this, that the auditions were colorblind, okay? There was nothing about appearances that was taken into account when they were auditioning for their parts. This is for the Golden Trio. Annabeth, Percy, and Grover were completely colorblind auditions, okay? So that is something to keep in mind, okay? It's not like they went out of their way to cast outside of the race. They just went with the person who performed the best. And I definitely think that that is important to acknowledge, that it wasn't the appearance that they were taking into account, it was their performance. So whether they were white, black, Asian, it didn't matter. It depended on how they performed. And if out of the 10,000 people, Leah did the best, then that's just how it goes. I mean, it is a colorblind audition for a reason. So I do think that's important to say. People say that. Okay. Anyways, okay, so moving outside of my comment section, let's go look at Twitter. There's a lot of fan art revolving around them. There's a lot of things, a lot of fan art. People are very excited about this casting choice. People are already accepting it. Let's see, latest. A lot of fan art. There's just there's just a lot of fan art. Let's see. What is this? Okay. Now, I do think it's weird that people are focusing on the skin tone. I mean, literally... Now, I will say that goes for both sides. It's weird that people were obsessed over the skin tone. Like, it didn't... At the end of the day, it really didn't matter what his skin tone was. It's really weird. It is really weird that people just focus on the skin tone. Like, of all the things to be worried about. I mean, I get it. Like... But I do think that it is weird how much... like her skin tone was made into like a campaign, because I did see that like people were campaigning for Black Annabeth, people were campaigning for White Annabeth. It's just it's strange when people do that, because it becomes almost a fetishization, almost like it honestly becomes a little bit concerning that people are reducing a character down to the skin tone in either direction. Both scenarios, it's a problem, because it tells Hollywood that this is proper representation, which is not. It definitely is not. Just like that's not the only thing that's not the only factor. I hope that makes sense. I think that it's weird, especially since these are literal children. Again, these are literal kids. Okay, so it's weird that people only focused on that one aspect, especially when it came to Annabeth. I mean, again, like not many people were talking about Grover. I think because maybe it was already Brandon T. Jackson, so people were saying, "Oh, why can't Grover also be dark?" But then at the same time, it's like these characters are already established. You know, they have been established for a while, and let's be honest, Annabeth was not originally, she was not originally POC. She was a Californian girl. She was a Virginian girl, actually, and she was definitely not POC. And it is very clear in the books that she was not POC. And I think even though you can imagine that she is, it's just not representation. And I think that it's fine that she is POC, but I think it's wrong to say that that is proper representation. I do think that is the case. Like I would not, for example, I like if Annabeth was Asian, right? If she was actually Asian, if the actress was Asian, I would not call that Asian representation. But it would be nice. I mean, like it would be nice, but it wouldn't be like representation, you know? Unless they go out of their way to really show that culture, to really show how that is important to her story, it really isn't a significance. Like it really isn't a representation if you really think about it. And I mean, it really isn't. It really isn't. And I know, yeah. I think I've said my part on that. Okay. Okay. You know what? I think there's a bad idea. We're gonna move on from Twitter. Twitter is a cesspool. Okay. Alright, so this is the actual IMDb. This is Leah Jeffries. I think it's Leah. Okay, so here's like a clip. I don't know what this is for. Demo reel.
Well, I was doing my math.
Or apparently not. Apparently.
Math lab. At Lisa Maxwell. Well, I was doing my math lab. And Lisa Maxwell said that I was a baby because I was counting on my fingers. And I said, you need to put some lotion on your elbows because they look like they've been dipped in cake batter. Dip, dip, dip.
Trying to get some sleep.
Well, he looks like this because since us and Mommy don't live with him anymore, he's gonna have to try to rebuild his life, and he's probably worried about whether or not he even can. Right, Daddy?
What do you want to do? I mean, I'm down to do whatever you want to do.
Oh, Mommy, is she coming back?
Yeah, she's coming back.
Is this one where she's older? This is literally her as a child. Is there? Where is like I want to see like something that is like older, that's more recent. Why? She's like literally a child. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting, but okay, this is Aryan. Okay, never mind. What the fuck? Okay. You know, let's go to YouTube. Let's go to YouTube. What I'll do is I will go Leah Jeffries and a audition tape maybe. I don't know. Audition reel. I mean, I was gonna nope. Okay, let's check out some videos actually. Let's check out some videos. Okay, Percy Jackson casting. There's my video. All right, let's check out Unclaimed Demigod.
Hello guys, and
oh my God.
welcome to another video.
Sorry, I'm
gonna. I can't stop smiling. We just got. I cannot believe it. I was literally just chilling for a second. I asked my brother to check my PowerPoint presentation for an important presentation I have to give tomorrow, and I was scrolling through my Instagram, and I literally just saw a picture. I was like, oh, Rick with the kid who's gonna play Percy. That's so cute. And I was like, wait, who are these two other children standing beside them? That was my reaction. I threw my phone across the room as soon as I glanced at it and figured out what it was because I wanted to share my reaction with you. So the only thing I did notice was that I don't think either of them are white. So you better calm down in the comments. If anyone there leaves a hate message for these kids, I will teleport to your house and give away your Percy Jackson and Olympian books. That's what I said.
So clearly she's excited.
Of course, I have to post this on the exact day that I have an important presentation due the next day, and I have to study for it. At least I didn't post it tomorrow at this time because I would have been watching Doctor Strange in theaters. So at least today I can post a video. But I'm sorry for rambling.
By the way, this is her channel.
This is so weird. It's funny. Percy's and Annabeth's hairs are like their colors. They switched. It's so cute. Okay.
That's true.
Okay, Rick looks like such a proud parent. Oh my God. I love her hair though. She has like some white in it. Cute. So let's see what Rick has to say. Friends, the main trio is now complete.
Okay, yeah, we went over this.
The TV series is very on brand for Grover, so I appreciate that they chose that. He is very cute. He is like rocking a tie-dye hoodie, which is very on brand for Grover, so I appreciate that they chose that picture. I can just like picture him with like tiny horns. Personal opinion here. I think the fandom will accept this casting for Grover much more than they'll accept Annabeth, just because they're both POCs, but this guy is playing Grover, who in the first movies was actually played by a black actor. So I think this will be a smoother pill to swallow than Annabeth. But people people really shouldn't care that much. And if you attack them, again, I will be coming for you. Oh my god, this picture of Annabeth! This picture of Annabeth, and I don't know if they chose it because of that, but remember in Sea of Monsters, at the beginning, when Percy is secretly looking at a picture that Annabeth sent him through her email, and he printed out, and she is standing with her arms crossed in front of some monument, I don't remember which one, like, she was so proud of it, as if she designed it herself. That's this picture. Like, I don't care if she does not look like what she was described in the books. Look at this picture and try to tell me that she doesn't give off Annabeth proud of a random monument vibes. Just you try. No, that's Chase. Out of all the talented actors we looked at for this role, Leah Sava Jeffries quickly became my number one choice for Annabeth. A native of Detroit, she is a brilliant actor who can break our hearts, make us laugh, and have us cheering for her all in the same scene.
Is
She
it
was
Leah?
the first of the TV show Empire and the series Realm. I have so many shows and movies to watch now just in order to see how these kids act. She recently returned from South Africa where she wrapped filming on Beast, a forthcoming feature film in which Leah plays the daughter of Aegis.
I don't need it. Okay.
That's very interesting because the guy for Percy also played along some very big names. She will also star in the Amazon.
Okay, so clearly very excited.
Zoe Dutch and Shay Mitchell, produced by Reese Witherspoon.
Okay. Let me see someone else. Let's see my thoughts.
So
Percy
everyone,
Jackson.
they cast Annabeth and Grover. The Golden Trio is finally complete. As Grover, they cast Aryan, whose previous roles include Cheaper by the Dozen and a show called Spin. Rick said that he's perfect for the role of Grover, and that he and Walker have a great dynamic. And as Annabeth, they cast Leah. She has a lot of experience with acting. Like, I think Rick listed 5 or so projects that she's been a part of. So I think she's gonna do great. Now, as for the fact that they aren't really book accurate, it really doesn't matter much. Obviously, having actors that look like how most of the fandom pictures these characters, aka Various art, is great because it helps us fans believe that the actor is actually the character. But what really matters is how well the actors can act. If they can successfully capture the personality of the characters, I personally don't see
Exactly. Okay. This is my video. Okay. No. Let's go with this one.
Yeah, guys, we finally have our trio casting. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is a very exciting day. I've made a couple videos about Percy Jackson casting in the past, and today we got news that we finally have our Annabeth and our Grover casted, and I'm so excited. So this is the picture they posted to announce the casting, and I can't even explain like the feeling I get looking at these three standing next to each other. I don't know why. Just looking at them, I just feel like the casting's perfect, and I haven't even seen the other two kids.
Okay. Casting perfect. Let's see this one.
Hello, please welcome back to my channel. It has been a minute since I've seen you guys. Oh my word, it is insane. Life has been going crazy.
Life of a SE.
Life has just been going insane. With everything opening up and having to be back on physical like appearances for things have just been insane. And all this madness. I got to Instagram to read Instagram, and guess what? There is a new Percy Jackson series called Percy Jackson and the Olympians on Disney Plus. And I'm guessing
Oh, the main cast. There it is.
all I care about was Big Master 12 finally. And yeah, shout out to Rick, man. He said during all this Twitter up or whatever. I don't think he was responding to Twitter too because on Rick's social media does say that Rick is not on social media, he doesn't on social media. But
Oh, these are fan castings. Wait.
in the books, smart, strong, and
Wait, are these fan castings?
Of a certain seaweed brain. We know who seaweed brain is, and don't act like you don't like Percy. I'm actually quite happy with the casting after I got over my own internalized racism because I was so used to a specific formula when it came to book adaptation. Seeing this had me looking silent like, wait, why did I not think this was possible? That's Rick Ryan because he is really trailblazing a new part. And I know a lot of people be like, well, in the old Percy Jackson, Grover was black, but it's a little different with Grover because Grover is a satyr who is what's the word? Who was never really described that intensely. So with Grover, I think people were more accepting than with Annabeth because Annabeth is such a beloved character that they can't believe that she might
Yeah,
be the same
that's
different type of person,
definitely valid.
type of
I think also in some ways, and I love Varia, but I think because we have been so used to Varia's artwork, those are like now kind of like the canon, what people see. And regardless of whether or not the books mention the appearances or not, those images are what people see when they think about the characters, right? Like, immediately, I always think of Varia's work when I think of any of the book characters. And so, because people are so in love, I think, especially with the older Annabeth look, I think people wanted to really see that come to life. That doesn't make it invalid. I think people who have that want and desire is valid because at the end of the day, that is who Annabeth has been for the past 10 years, right? Now, people who... Now, I think... How do I put this? I think also the other reason is that Annabeth is really like the poster child of Percy Jackson. Like, Annabeth is probably one of the most popular characters in the Percy Jackson series, next to Nico D'Angelo. Like Nico and Annabeth are the two like big characters within the Percy Jackson universe, even with those who have never seen or read the books. Like people who have never seen the movie or read the books, and the movies don't even count anyways. Like when people think of Percy Jackson, like Annabeth and Nico are like the two characters that always happen. And I think also the reason why people are kind of concerned is because like there already are like I think the problem if we're talking honestly, the problem is that this is not the first time a character has been race swapped. Let's be honest. That's the real problem. Like if this was like the first time, one time thing that Disney has done this, then I don't think there would have been an issue, right? There wouldn't really have been a backlash. But I think because it's been so common now to see in media, people are getting sick and tired of it. And unfortunately, like, even though it might be a colorblind cast, like, I think people only see what they've been used to, and that is, the sort of the politicization of these characters. And that's sad. That's unfortunate. But at this point, there's nothing that we can change. There's nothing that we can do. These are our characters. I highly doubt they're going to recast anyone. So this is who we're going with. So that's just a lens of kind of the overall thoughts of the fandom. Obviously, it's not the entirety of the fandom's thoughts. There are things that I didn't cover, but I just thought it would be interesting to kind of look at what other people are saying and kind of talk about it a little bit. And we'll continue to kind of cover the Percy Jackson series. Like I plan to kind of cover everything, even when the series launches. I have a few ideas. I probably won't do reactions because copyright, but I might do like reviews like once the series starts going. I don't know exactly. I don't know what I'm going to do, but it'll be interesting to see kind of where everything goes from here. Also, I also wanted to actually look at one thing on Twitter, and that was, what was it? Becky. Yeah. I actually wanted to look at Becky's Twitter real quick. Never mind. I'm fine. Yeah, I mean, I think it is what it is. At this point, it is what it is. By the way, I appreciate the support. 891 views. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. And I'll see you guys next time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave it down in the comments what you think. What are your thoughts? And subscribe for more content because there's more coming. There's a lot more coming, actually. There's so much more coming. Not just Percy Jackson. I am going to get back into my normal content soon, like streaming and everything. But if you want to, stick around, and I'll see you guys there. Also, there's a Discord server for Percy Jackson fans. Go to discord.gg/Percy Jackson. That URL is only going to work probably for this month, because I'm gonna because right now the server is at level 3, but that costs like $50 a month. So I'm going to reduce it down to a level 2, which is going to omit the invite. So when that happens, check the description down below. I'll add like the actual link to the Discord so that you'll always be able to join it. I welcome you to kind of join and let's geek about the Percy Jackson series. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, guys. It's been a blast. Bye. Bye.